Hello, guys. Welcome back. It's Mohammed again. So, as you see, you can notice I do have both of my Windows 10 up and running, and you should have the same thing on your side. So, let me just continue this actual process over here, right? So, I'm going to choose, of course, United States. Let me do them both at the same time, right? See, the mouse is stuck, which tells you we need the actual virtual machine edition. So, let me just continue. I don't need this. I could skip the second keyboard layout, right? And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. And after this is done, we're going to be installing the virtual machine editions, right? So that's something we're going to be actually doing to speed up the process and to get all the full functionality of the virtual machine. It's actually talking about updates right now. Updates are extremely important, but I'd rather do them after. I'd rather skip it for now, and I could do the updates after. That's what normally how you would actually do it. So let's just give it a few seconds and see how this actually works. Because updates are important, right? The latest hot fixes, patches to enhance, to lock down your actual system itself. So for now, I'm just doing the Windows 10. I mean, yes, we will be looking at Windows 11. So that's something we're going to be looking at. We're going to be looking at the Server 2022, correct? And I told you we have to have a pro version because these machines will actually what? Will be joining the actual domain, right? So the Windows 10 itself, that's a pro version, and the 2019 is a standard edition, right? That's what we have, an actual standard edition, but it's the desktop experience, right? We don't need the actual data center, I would say. It's almost actually there. When it says that, it's actually almost there, right? So imagine if I was actually about to get the updates. Look what it says. Please don't turn off your actual device itself. So, as I told you, the server is actually quicker than a client operating system, even though it's a client, right? So, that's one thing as you notice. One thing I want to show you over here when I click on player and I do manage and I click on virtual machine settings. See this? The network adapter is something I want to explain is actually done as NAT, which means this machine will not be able to talk to the physical computer. If I make it bridged, it's going to be on the same network as the physical computer. So let's remember that. I'd rather do it NAT where they could all the virtual machines can talk to each other, but it doesn't mean they could talk to the host machine itself. It's good for security. So look at this. Make sure we choose setup for organization, which means I'm going to try and join this to the domain. All right. Let me try and work on both of these at the same time. Next. See, domain join instead. Username is going to be admin. I'll just use admin. I'm going to put a typical password. I'm just putting the character as the number one. And we just have to use security questions over here. I could put any random stuff. The reason why it's just a virtual machine. Anything goes wrong, I just delete it and recreate the machine again. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Domain join instead. Right. Username is admin. And I'm going to put the same actual password for both. And let me just do the security questions. Right, and there we go. And here's security question number three. All right, and let's give it a moment. All right, here. I don't need this, so I could say not now. Right, it's gonna ask for, all these. I could say accept. That's fine. It's just a virtual environment, so not now. And right, and I could actually skip all of this, and I could do the same thing over here. Accept and skip. We don't need artificial intelligence, which is Cortana. Now it's actually called Copilot, all right? They just changed the name for that, so I could actually disable this and I can enable it back on later on, right? I'm actually done. So my next job is to install virtual machine editions. That's what I want to actually do, right? So I'm going to go to player, right? And of course, manage and choose install VMware tools. And I'm going to do the same thing on my second machine. That's actually the first one. Manage and install VMware tools. See how that warning came out? So, of course, once this is actually done, I will have a faster system, just like the way I actually had it for the servers. This will not actually take long, right? Anytime you want to add more hardware to the virtual machine, you actually have to turn it off. It's kind of funny. It's like a real computer. I want to add another hard drive. We'll be seeing that. So you will see me like, yes, we'll be turning off an actual virtual machine as it's an actual real computer. All right. So we treat the virtual like a real actual computer. That's what we do. This is almost actually done, even though it says it's going to take several minutes, right? Now, look, if I try to look at a full screen again, I cannot see all the features. The reason why, because I don't have virtual machine additions installed on the system itself. Once it's done, it loads all the drivers, and I'll be able to have a full screen and use all the actual features. When it reaches this section, leave everything to us. It says almost there right now. You know what that means? That means it's actually done. So this is a good process. Let me take a look at my next one. So they're actually at the same section, which is actually good. Right. So from here also you could shut down, you could suspend, you could restart. If I go to player power, if it's stuck, I could restart. You probably see that from some labs, removable devices. That's where I get the ISO, change this, disconnect that. So there's different settings as you see over here, right? On the virtual machine itself. So let's just give it a moment until this actually logs on. And I'm just going to go ahead and launch the virtual machine edition. So it's the same category as my server. Then we'll set. It's like, yes, we have our client server network, but we did not install any roles, any features. Nothing is actually hosted on the servers, right? Nothing is hosted on the servers at all. That's the thing. So now my servers are set up, my clients are actually set up. Why would I need two servers? Why would I need two clients? You're going to start realizing there's reasons why I'm actually doing this because there are some things that I need to have two machines, especially for restrictions and policies. And another server is actually for fault tolerance. And launch Virtual Machine Edition. Slow. Right? So let me just launch this and see how this actually works. Default settings and see how that works. Same thing on this machine. Let me actually launch it, right? And here I'm going to launch and open it and run the setup. Same thing. Right? And same thing over here. I'm going to click on yes. It should open up and take the default configuration, just like what I did on that virtual machine. So this should come up soon. See, the mouse is actually stuck because the virtual machine additions is actually not done yet. It has to restart for it to actually take effect. So next, and install. You'll see the difference. In my case, when I have both servers on both clients, it's not going to be slow because I have the virtual machine additions. That's why. So these are almost done. I'm going to give it a few seconds, and then it's going to actually what? Restart the system itself. So effect. Let's give it a moment. This is actually almost done. This is actually the when it finalizes it. So okay, let me go back to this machine. Need this and good right now. Once it resets, everything should be fine. The speed of it should be perfect. That's one thing to keep in mind. The speed should be perfect, much faster than before. And I could go from one virtual machine to another, right? Because I have virtual machine additions. That's why. So let's give it a moment and you'll see the difference. Now, if I try to look at a full screen, I should be able to look at a full screen because I do have virtual machine additions set up over here, right? So that's one thing to keep in mind. Without the additions, everything will be extremely slow. This is just the first time that it actually gets a reset. There you go. So this looks good. Let me take a look at this machine over here and just try and log on. Watch this. Look how fast it's going to be now. Look at the response. And look, when I log in, I'm going to be in the desktop right away. I don't have to press Control Alt to release the actual mouse because I do have virtual machine editions installed on the actual system, right? So once that's installed on the system, I'm actually good to go, right? Now, I know if you actually give it 4 gigs, it's probably going to be a little bit slower, but for now, I do have the additions. I could show you that right over here also, player manage. If you see where it says reinstall VMware tools, that means you have it installed. And let me log on to this one over here. And there you go. See that? It's actually installed. So if I'm over here and I look at a full screen, I could see a full screen. There you go. All right. Just like the actual what server. So if I look at it like this and I come back over here, see, I could go from one machine to another without pressing what, guys? Control Alt. There you go. All right. And look, it's actually fast. So they look good. That's for this actual section. So we'll be meeting up in our next section. So right now we have both servers, we have both clients, and now we can start little by little building our interesting lab, guys. So we'll see you guys soon. All right, guys, then later.